Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. George Gonzalez. I'm the founder of Quantum Neurology and the author of the Holographic Healing Series. And I'm very proud and honored to have my special guest, David Ostrovsky, today. And he's going to be speaking on his Lyme rehabilitation. Welcome, David. Thank you for being here today.
No, thank you, George.
Absolutely. Now, David, you've been suffering from Lyme disease for several years now. When did that start for you?
I got infected in 2008. I was 26 and 34 now, and I started losing my speech and my ability to walk. And as it usually happens, I was misdiagnosed with MS. Prior to this, I was completely healthy. I was actually really active sport-wise, and I'm getting there.
Yes, we're definitely working our way back to get you, better than before. Now, you were severely affected. There's a large range of neurological effects that Lyme disease could affect on somebody. But you've had a tremendous level of neurological loss. Could you describe where you were at the worst with your Lyme disease?
The first thing started with just symptoms of being extremely tired and with a headache like every day at all times. That was when I got infected, but I didn't know. And after 8 months, I started losing my speech and mobility, but it was like slowly every day. I will wake up, speak out loud, and it was every day a little slower than the previous day. And I had no idea what was going on, and neither the doctors knew. And not only my case was really severe, but also the fact that I was misdiagnosed with MS. I was given corticosteroids, steroids that made the case even worse than ever.
Yeah, so eventually you ended up in a wheelchair. You'd lost all your movement.
After 1 month of all those losing speech and mobility, I went from walking to a wheelchair, and I was discharged with the diagnosis of this is your new life. Get used to.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And obviously you didn't keep with that advice, and you've searched out for first of all, you had to figure out what was wrong with you because they didn't know at that time. So how did you figure out Lyme disease, that this was the issue that you had?
I'm a system analyst, so I say that I suffer from OCD. It's not real OCD. So I made an Excel spreadsheet, and I was taking notes every day, every single day, my symptoms, which medication I was getting, if I was getting better, worse, with rehabilitation I was doing, and I started surfing the web for an answer. I found out there's not only Wikipedia, there's also medical books, universities online, good information, and I was trying to find out which disease I have. I'm not an MD, of course, and by looking at all the possibilities, I found something called Lyme disease and co-infections, which until that day was something completely new for me, but it completely made sense. All my symptoms started after a trip to New Jersey and New York. I'm a Argentinian native, even though I have spent the last year living here in the US. So I also find out that the lab tests are not reliable. That's even worse in Argentina because in theory, that's another subject. We don't have Lyme, so I had to find the best uh, lab to test for these diseases, and I was sort of speaking really slowly to a point that it was completely unable for me to have a phone conversation. I was typing like this. So being like this, I sent an email to this lab and the reply saying, okay, Dr. David, send us. So I explained I was not the doctor. Now we'll fast forward until I was able to send the samples. I had to do all the research, decide which sample, either blood, urine, which method, which disease, and it ended up coming positive for Lyme, Bartonella, Ehrlichia, and babesiosis. And after years of trying to get any success with Eastern medicine, I said that's enough, and I flew to Dallas to see an specialist in Lyme disease, and I went on 2 short trips for 2 weeks. The second one, that was 2012, I said, okay, I'm doing an excellent doctor for Lyme. There has to be something as good or better for rehabilitation, because all I knew at that time, all the common person knows is you have an injury and a stroke or whatever, and you're told to do this 1,000 times a day. You know what? That was not making any difference. So I Google on YouTube Lyme disease rehabilitation, and I found George Gonzalez on a familiar that's live on TV in Orlando, I think. You correct me. And there was a lady with Lyme disease, which also went from a walker on the first video, and by the end, she was jumping and speaking perfectly, and I said, that's what I want. So I went to quantumneurology.com. I found find a doctor in your area, and I found James Rayland, which is a student of George. And I started seeing him almost daily. And at that point, only with the medical treatment, I went from a wheelchair to a cane. And then I was combining the medical treatment with quantum neurology, and only but progressively every day one day I forgot the cane in a cab, and that's when I realized that I didn't need it anymore, and I was getting better and better. And last year I made a huge fundraising back home, to be able to get a medical visa to fly here and be as long as needed to accomplish my phrase, which George told me, be better than before. And every day I'm seeing going on the way to be back to be that David that I used to be.
Excellent. It's an amazing story, David, and from you finding out what was wrong with you to finding quantum neurology and the other doctors that have helped you so much, and to be able to rehabilitate from, being in a wheelchair to a walker to a cane, and then you started with quantum neurology, and then from a cane to being able to walk without any cane at all. And you had when you started with me, you were seeing Dr. James Ryland for, I think, a year or so before you saw me. But when you saw me, you still had difficulty walking. You had a very wide gait. You had much more difficulty in speaking. It was hard to understand you when you spoke. You had other issues with fine motor skills. And all those things have been improving significantly. And every day we see you, we see improvement. Now, there is the concept of re-injury. And we saw, you left for Dallas to go do some care over there, but we noticed when you returned after a month of not having care with me that you declined a little bit. And so that we call that re-injury. And so we noticed that you're lost in your gait and your ability to walk, especially going up and down stairs. Your endurance level has suffered a little bit. But it's taken us about 2 weeks to get you back to where you were before you left, which is a great improvement, great a show of success in what we're doing to rehabilitate you. So how do you feel now, the trajectory of where you're going and what you're doing, and what do you see in the future for yourself now?
The future, as I will say, when I was in the hospital bed, was to be better than before. I have not a single doubt that I'm gonna get there. My speech, maybe the people that are watching this, of course, they notice a strong accent and maybe it's a little hard to understand, but it's a long way since what it used to be really slowly and completely impossible to understand. We are working that almost every day, really like trying to find you can explain that better than me with vowels, with letter, with combination words is a problem. For example, I was completely unable to say the R word. It was like a JR. And that's normal now, and I'm just the same way that I lose a lot. Now that I'm gaining, I get used to gain a lot of new things, and I just continue. For example, now coming a shower, standing up is completely normal for me, and it wasn't like that months ago.
That's amazing. Some of the things that we've done with your speech rehabilitation in quantum neurology, I developed a way to access the actions of the nerve to initiate the sounds that are desired. And that's why it's so powerful, and we've seen such a big change with David's speech. Also, in quantum neurology, we use the concept, I call it holographic. The holographic means that every cell in the body is participating to achieve a certain desired action. And when we use those principles in rehabilitation, we're able to see big changes. So instead of, trying to get, the shoulder muscle to do all the work here, we're incorporating the entire back musculature to lever the limb out into outer space. So it's these principles of how to engage and use the body. Some of these principles came from martial arts concepts. Some of these came from neurological concepts that I developed. But altogether, the concept is, how do you make the nervous system achieve the desired action with the entirety of the body, every cell in the body communicating towards that action. And that's the main principle that we use within quantum neurology. Now, David, you know, I know you have another event here scheduled, but you know, we're going to continue this conversation at our homecoming event on November 11th and 12th, 2016. You're going to be one of our speakers. I'm so glad to have you there. And I'm so glad for all the successful healing that you've experienced. And I've been injured myself, and I know how dramatic it is to be disabled and to work towards gaining ability and function again. And I know it's been a tremendous experience for you. What would you say to people that are out there that are suffering with any condition, any neurological condition, including Lyme disease? What would you suggest for them to be doing to advance themselves?
Well, either Lyme, stroke, any injury from small to a big one. I'm guessing the worst scenario is when you lose hope. And you lose hope because sadly out there's a lot of people that they are just maybe doctor, maybe PT, physical therapist, speech therapist, OT, occupational therapist, that they just say to maybe the patients or the parents or of someone like this, you know what, just get used to your new life, or maybe we can make you regain a little function, and that's it. From my perspective, nothing is impossible, even though that sounds like an Adidas ad, but there's no problem that has a solution. You need to keep looking for better doctor, better solution, better companies, even friends or whatever. Surround yourself with people that are hardworking and amazing, like every single doctor and friend that is working with me. George, I like to say, he used to be my doctor, now he's my doctor/friend. We go to dinner together. Now we are freaking indoor climbing together. And usually they tell you, me to doctor, don't get involved with the patients. You know what? No, it's normal to have this type of relationship when someone is helping you to get your life back. And I lost it. I was saying, what is my advice for people out there? And the other thing is, overcoming something is really hard work. I'm not completely healed yet. You can expect to go to a doctor and expect him to tell you everything you do. You need to sleep well, eat well, see a doctor, work on your own probably. The doctor is still not gonna be there next to you. I actually am really hard on myself. I almost never allow to, for example, I never eat sugar or do anything that can harm me. And I get sometimes tell me like, oh, do this, enjoy this, and then you will continue doing everything else. And my reply is, if I don't eat sugar, if I don't do this and that, and I focus on rehabilitation, do everything as perfect as possible, and the next day I'm able to do something new, something better, that fulfills me. Not, I prefer that to the joy of being able to eat a candy.
That's right. I'll say something, David. You are an excellent patient. You do your exercises, you eat right, you hydrate, you do everything I tell you to do. And something that's important for everybody to understand is, as powerful as quantum neurology is, it's not 100% for 100% of the people. You know, as successful as we've been with rehabilitating David, he's still seeing other practitioners for other aspects of his care, for nutrition and cellular care, all those kind of things. Excuse me. As important as the neurological rehabilitation is, it's supported by David's other actions of diet, health, nutrition, seeing other practitioners. So I just want to be very clear and let everybody know that that's an aspect of what he's doing, and never give up. Never give up. Quantum neurology is usually a strong answer for people, but be ready for it to not be 100% solution for you, and to be willing to look for other answers in the areas that may not be addressed with quantum neurology. David is going to be at our homecoming event in November 11th and 12th. He's going to be one of our speakers, sharing his full story with us and in our community. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much, David, for being with us. If anybody has any questions about quantum neurology or how to learn more about quantum neurology, please visit quantumneurology.com or email us at info@quantumneurology.com. And David, if somebody wants to see your story more deeply, what's your website and how could they learn more about you?
It's either in English or Spanish. In Spanish, if anyone that is seen us knows Spanish, is ayudemosadavid.com. Same thing on Facebook, facebook.com/ayudemosadavid, which in English means and will be facebook.com/help-save-David or help-save-David.com. Here I have this amazing opportunity because people all over the world believe in quantum neurology, and I cannot be more thankful for that.
Well, that's wonderful, David. Thank you so much. And I know you have to go, so thank you, and we'll see you soon. And we look forward to seeing everybody at the event on November 11th and 12th. Thank you so much.